When Orson Welles did the War of the Worlds, there was one major concern that took place afterwards. Okay, so when Orson Welles did the radio broadcast of War of the Worlds, and all those people listening thought that Earth had been invaded by aliens, what had happened was people who at that time had not been conditioned or programmed to grasp the possibility of this existence of an off-world civilization. What happened was people panicked. I mean, people really panicked, and they shot at anything. People went out their doors with their guns, and anything that moved, they were shooting at them. December 2012, if you research the ufology world from the 70s to say mid-90s, there were people that were basically, they were in the know, and some of them had emphasized or expressed that there is an external problem. So yes, there is a problem out in space, or a threat. Reagan even said at the UN. Summit meeting, that what if we as people were facing this, and he's pointing up. Okay, so people in the know over the years during that time period have expressed or emphasized that those in the know had felt that if those that control the information about the subject were to educate, okay, let's say the world, or let's say the U.S., if they were to educate people, there was a strong chance or possibility that people would come together, and they felt, those in the know, that the problem, the external problem, could be dealt with in a lot better level than if they keep people in the dark and don't educate people about the subject of UFOs and the actual existence of the phenomena. So I have personally always believed and have known from the early 80s, when I really started to get into this, that I knew that what's out there externally starts becoming internal. That the country I live in and those that run the system, whether it be secretly or in a shadow format or not, the first thing they would want is to go for the guns. They would get a gun grab, and this was learned from the Orson Welles radio broadcast. Okay, so I have believed with what I know and have learned and known over the years, all the way from these objects being tangible to a secret agencies within that they've been knocking them down. I mean, it's just the way it is. I believe that if they would have, and those that run the system, if they would have given people the chance to understand what it's really all about, people as a whole might be able to overcome this problem. The unfortunate part of it is that it's all based on money. Technology is money in the US. So you're talking advanced technologies, and I've already been down that road. So it all amounts to power, control, and very big money. I can actually see now, December 18th, 2012, I can see to a point where this gun grab should take place, because you have one side that's not going to educate the mass or the many because of maybe they feel people aren't ready or whatever. It really doesn't matter as to why, but they're not going to do it. And you've got the other side that are being, how can you say it? They are being convinced that it's because of something else that they want these guns, which apparently these mass murders and so on are getting to be more and more high. Well, that's all a whole different spectrum, and it's you're bringing all of this into one picture, and it just tell you about a phone call I received today about 10 to 5. I picked up the phone and I had said blah 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 residence, and I hear a guy say, male voice say, telling somebody, obviously wherever he was, that, oh yeah, Friday is the end of the world. And I thought, so he goes on to talk to me, and he said that my reason for calling is, would you consider voicing your opinion about Medicaid and Medicare cuts, which I have no problem with, because the one I have here, that is her lifeline, and not just her, but many like her. She's 89 years old. So I said to him, I said, well, I said, the end of the world isn't going to be Friday. And he's like, oh, you must have heard that. And I said, yeah. And I said, no, the end of the world is not going to be Friday. So no, Friday probably will not be the end of the world. And he said, well, I think it is. And I said, well, I can assure you that no, I highly doubt it. He doesn't know me, I don't know him. I've got a track record behind me, and I'm going to be realistic with you, and it doesn't matter how you take it. If somebody had the right evidence and was trying to put together a puzzle of a big picture, I would think that we would be the closest to it, even more so than Uncle Sam. Because once again, when you don't have all the pieces to make the big picture of the puzzle, it's a scramble. So I says to him about the end of the world and all. I said, no. And he goes, well, I think so. And I said, no, I highly doubt it. And he goes, well, if so, wouldn't just kill people. I'm sitting there thinking, sir, this phone line is monitored. They are probably listening in on this. If you want me to play along with you, which I would not do, I'm sure within a couple hours I will be on the ground kissing it with a gun to my head, or a few guns. And I said to him, and this is true, I said to him, I said, you shouldn't be talking like that over this phone to anybody or anything on that line elsewhere. It was just, especially now. I told him, I said, with all that's going on in the world right now, you should not be talking like that. He apologized. He was very good about it, and I think the guy felt bad, and he should, because you're stepping into a very sensitive area. So he says, would you mind, I'm going to switch you over to, I don't know if he's a senator or what he is, but John Tester's voicemail. Would you express your concerns about the cutbacks on Medicaid, Medicare? And I said, yeah. I said, why don't you just tell him to go ahead and cut out the black ops projects or programs? They'll take this country right out of debt. You're a pretty smart man. You sound like a pretty smart man. And I'm like, well, you know, because of the cost with the Black Ops projects and the budget, it's in the billions. And so he puts me over, and I got Nana on the other phone just screaming at me, you get off this phone. You hang this phone up right now. Don't you talk to these people. They'll be coming. And she just went bonkers. But she's been watching the news the past 3 days too. And that's not helping. And I told her, I said, it's fine. They just want me to, no, you get off that day. She was on the other telephone. Just, you wouldn't have believed it. And so I'm on the phone. He goes, I'm going to transfer you over. So then she picks up the phone, and when he does the transfer, she starts dialing. Next thing you know, we go from one format on a menu to something completely different. I'm sitting there going, would you please get off the phone? Just take, you get off the... Convinced that they're going to come to the door. Convinced 100% that they're going to come to the door and get us. And so I left the message, and my message basically was pretty clear. It was that, you know, why don't you do away with some of those tanks and get rid of them bombs and quit making them put all that money to the elderly. Because they really need it. And I hung up. Then I started thinking about it. I don't ever want a phone call like that again. Over the years, I have learned about entrapment, baiting, tactics and techniques that are used within to bait people or entrap them. And that's because they want them out of the picture. I write my comment, and it gets even weirder then. I almost felt like if I would have taken the bait,